This is a production of Cornell University.
Before I start this video, I wanted to ask, has anybody been to Ithaca's Children's Garden before? Yeah, nice. Have you guys been there for events? Okay, for your own fun? Because of children you may have? Okay, cool. Just wanted to see where I was at in terms of how many people actually know about Ithaca Children's Garden. So for those who don't know, I'm going to do a little short introduction, of course, with this lovely video.
I love the Ithaca Children's Garden because it has like all these plants and animals. The garden is important because it's beautiful. My favorite thing about Ithaca Children's Garden is that we're outdoors. I get to touch real things instead of a touch screen. You just hang out with nature really, and it's awesome. I found snails. Yes, they're the same. The snail. My favorite part, I think, is probably Gaia in the frog pond. Watching the frogs in their natural habitat. I like the flower garden. It's so beautiful there, and there's a bunch of bees. Wow. It's a monarch. It's a boy. There's two black dogs right there. Anarchy Zone. It's my favorite place at the children's garden. What we do in the Anarchy Zone is it's an adventure playground. So you get to build whatever you want, do whatever you want. It's the best. It's basically all fun because like you get to design your own things. You can like find things all over the ground, and then you can just start building with them. Like this. When the tires are too heavy to carry, you can just bring it over here. If you were to go to a playground, you would only have a certain structure to play on. But when you're here, you can build things and you can explore nature. It's play mixed with hard work. You get to use as much imagination as possible. Mama told me this place is all about trying to do stuff ourselves. What I like about the children's garden is that you can pick fruits and vegetables. Look at this beautiful carrot. I love to pick things like dill, fennel, basil, blackberries, tomatoes, cucumbers, and wild blackberries. Some of the stuff are sour, but most of them are very sweet and good. This place is full of imagination and wonder. Mostly fun for kids, but there's things that also grown-ups can do here. Hey, Daddy! Plan your visit to the Ithaca Children's Garden today. It's free and open every day of the year. It's a good place.
So that's it, I'm done. So part of the reason that I wanted to come do a seminar with you guys today was I heard that you guys have possible field work for credit through your SIPS program, and was hoping to entice you to come to Ithaca Children's Garden and use it as a space. So I was going to tell you a little bit more in detail about the Children's Garden. So essentially, it's a 3-acre garden. It's huge. It has anything and everything that a child could want to play with, but it also has a public garden. It has vegetables growing. It's a place where children have the right to play and learn and grow in the outdoors. So it's something that we want to make sure that this generation especially has access to in our world. if I were to ask you guys, as being individuals who are very aware of plant science, why do you think it's a benefit to be connected to the natural world? Why? What do you guys know of? What do you think? We know why, right? Mental health, great. Researchers have showed that time and time again. Anything else?
Physical health, better understanding of the connections to the environment.
The list goes on, right? So in case you didn't hear, he said physical health, connection to the environment, understanding how the environment works. It also gives us a chance to be resilient in changing climates and environments. It helps us create community because it's a place to gather openly and freely. And it helps us raise skills and ideas and knowledge of the natural environment in a way that is very different than urban living or Ithaca Children's Garden is a place to be able to come together, spend time, play, understand the natural world, and be immersed in it as a community. So we invite them to come in, inclusive, hands-on, sustainable, and safe, and have this adventure fill their opportunity and their experience. We believe that the connection between nature and free play sows the seeds for children to grow into a healthy, resilient, caring adult. And this is part of the reason why we do this. So what do we do? On any given day, you will see schools there coming for field trips. You will see our playful nature explorers, preschool, picking vegetables from the garden. One day I came in and these little kids were taking fennel from the ground, saying, I'm going to eat fennel, and then just start chewing the fennel. Have you guys ever seen kids eating fennel before? I mean, only at the garden, or if your family is like really into gardening and understand like how delicious it actually is. You see after school kids, you saw in the beginning of the video, there was these big black tubes. Kids like try to walk on it, climb through it. They'll play war games. They'll invent different forts and make things out of things that they find in any area in the anarchy zone or around the garden. You see our summer camp kids suddenly jumping around pretending to be frogs or other animals, and you hear voices of these weird children making their animals apparent to everyone. We have these events. Our events are normally on a seasonal basis so that we are able to show you guys the changing seasons that happen. Our next one, Scarecrow Jubilee, September 20th. Before that, we have our Tough Turtle Junior race. We need volunteers if anyone's interested. Just I had to plant that in. My marketing director told me I had to, so I did. This isn't a garden where, like in our botanical gardens, where you'll walk around and you need to keep your hands to yourself and you have to look. This is a place where we want you to touch. We want you to feel, we want you to try, if you recognize the plant, not if you don't. We want you to explore, we want you to find what's in yourself, what interests you, what motivates you, and go forth. Our founders came together with the idea in 1997, okay, to create a place for Ithaca's children to connect with nature, to explore, to play, to learn in their own way, at their own pace, and in a garden created with them and for them. So this isn't something that adults thought of and said, okay, let's create this garden. Kids were involved in creating this garden as well. We do a lot. We have, during the summer, we have teen urban farmers coming together to experience job for the first time. They help with everything and anything that has to do with the garden. Could be weeding, could be shoveling gravel, it could be helping with the children, it could be cooking the vegetables that we have and we need to harvest. So our features, we have quite a bit. We have Gaia. Everybody knows about Gaia? If not, it's a huge turtle structure that is made for kids to play on. It also has indigenous background and it talks about how the different I'm forgetting the word of the things that are on the turtle's back. Plates that are essential for all of growth and the world and the earth. They represent many different things in different cultures, but it is one of the reasons that we put it there because, as we know, this used to be indigenous land. So we have our kitchen garden where we harvest and prepare the food together. So we go around the garden, we pick out what we have, and then we make food together with our after-school kids. We have a farm stand where we sell our vegetables. When I say sell, it's like pennies. Just to give kids the idea that they're able to create something out of the things that they grow. We make food with them, and having adults understand that kids can chop their vegetables, make their food, and actually be self-reliant for their food intake is something that we want adults to realize. We want them to know that kids are able to do this. We give them real tools. They use fire, they use knives. We watch them, but they do this because we know that they are capable of doing it. We have animals and insects. I think in this, I want to move to the next picture only because, no, is it there? No, I might have. There it is. You guys know who's in that picture? Marvin takes care of our bees, makes sure that the honey comes out and that they're safe in winter and able to move around when it's not as cold out. So we have honeybees, we have free range hens, we have rabbits, we have other critters. We have, of course, everything that you'll see living in marshlands. We have hundreds of different species of birds. We have a bird garden where the garden welcomes children. We have this little birdhouse that looks like a birdhouse that you would make for kids, but for birds, but kids can go inside it. And then on the birds, we recognized over 100 and some odd birds that come and visit, from the blue heron to eagles to whatever it is that they could actually find and see at the garden. We're actually now improving it, and we just got binoculars so we can expand that search for birds, and we have feathers in there now so they can look at the different nests. It's quite exciting. We have a straw bale troll house. It's using natural materials, straw and wood and mud. And the reason for that is so that children understand that we can also build dwellings from natural materials. It is this little guy here. During some part of the season, it's also extremely, it's like the top is 100% like flowers and different plants, and it's beautiful to see. Around them, we've let ladybugs go recently. New species of not new species, but species of ladybugs that aren't as often seen in this area. So we've let them go there, and kids are finding them on their own. It's amazing. We have a bulb labyrinth. This is something really special. It is in commemorate of parents who have suffered the loss of a child. So it's a space that you can take your stroller, you can sit there and remember and be meditative about the loss. It's built around perennials, different bulbs and perennials, and it's always in need of upkeep and hoping to revamp and get rid of all of the invasive species that have started to take over, so that it continues to be a beautiful space for families to meditate, mourn, whatever it is that they need to do. Supposedly bulbs symbolize the cycle of life. Not something I know. I'm not a big plant person, if you guys haven't noticed. I'm a very big child play person, which I can get into much more later on. We have our wetlands and bioswale. We have our rice paddy pond, which doesn't really grow any rice anymore, but you'll find you'll have salamanders, sometimes different turtles you'll find there even, that we need to bring back to Cayuga. We have frogs and other aquatic insects, and it's a beautiful space. If you haven't been before, you need to come and make sure you see all of these different features and ecosystems. Our education philosophy is really different than most places. If normally you see people who are, their after school activities are structured, kids are gone from one place to another where it's again adult led, it's again someone who is telling the child how and what to do. This is our philosophy, is that play is freely chosen, intrinsically motivated, and personally directed. That means that kids have the right to decide how they play, when they play, with what they play, where they play, and in the idea that their motivations and interests are just as important as ours as adults and supporters. The idea that we don't tell them how to do things or what to do things, but instead support their play so that they can find themselves in a way that is less squared, more this idea that they have the right to choose. It's a time of the day that they are listened to. If you think about a child's day, 7 hours they're in school, then they get home, or they're in some sort of after school activity. All day long, they have to listen to somebody else tell them what and how to do things. This is a time when they get to decide. We know the benefits of play. It is researched beyond belief. However, the trickle down is slow. And you don't see it in the education world so much. I hope that with Ithaca's Children's Garden, I hope that we get to become a model for Ithaca and the surrounding community further if we can, and make sure that people understand the importance of children's needs to show who they are, show what they want. We often use something called loose parts. The outdoors has the most amount of loose parts that you've ever seen. Loose parts are anything that can be used for play that doesn't have a predefined purpose for play. So not a toy. A toy would not be a loose part. A loose part would be a branch or a leaf or mud or a rope or a cloth or a clip. It can be used for anything that the child thinks of. I've seen those tires be made into kitchens. They were like a pot for stewing. I've seen kids take cardboard boxes, put it up, and then it becomes a house. And then they take a tube and connect it, and suddenly it's a sorry, losing my words. Fireplace, thank you. English is my second language. And it actually is. I know it doesn't sound it, but it is. We give them time and the intrigue to empower themselves. We're there to support that, not to guide them, not to teach them. It is extremely important. We believe in risky play. Risky play doesn't mean that we're gonna leave out a piece of wood with a nail in it and hope that a kid doesn't step in it. No, that's hazardous. Risky play means that we're gonna let them climb the tree. If they can get up, most likely they can get down, okay? It's the idea that they can balance things. They can play sword fight. They can pretend play with. If you tell them don't make that stick into a gun, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna make everything they can into a gun. I've seen kids chew their sandwich into the shape of a gun so they can have gunplay, okay? If you tell them no, they're gonna do it. So better to allow them to do it and say, is this offending anyone? Do you wanna play this game? If you don't wanna play this game, maybe you should tell your friend. That gives them an opportunity to stand up for themselves, to say what they want, what they don't want. Community building. It's really important to us that our space is diverse. I know that's, we're not allowed to say that anymore, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna shout it out. We want our space to be diverse. We wanna make sure everyone and anyone has the opportunity to come to our space, to be involved in our space. And we often have scholarship funding where if someone can't join one of our programs, they will join. They will not be turned down. We will find a way to get them in our program. This year, I think we made over $55,000 in scholarship funds, paid for over 100 students. That type of thing is 100% part of our values, and we are going to continue to do it. So, what are we looking for? You guys. We're looking for students with passion, with the idea of collaboration, creative thinkers, research-minded individuals to say, hey, look what we're doing. What we're doing should be researched and it should be used all over in the schools. We're looking for future environmental leaders. We want you guys to show the kids what they don't know. Create something that might interest you. So if you do join us, we have projects that are ready to go that we might need help with, but we're also flexible and understand, just like we do for the kids, that your interests and motivations are just as important. So if you come to me and say, this project I'd really like to do, and it works out for us, we will 100% support you in that project. We are very collaborative. We want to work with Cornell University. We want you guys part of the community. And anything that you guys are willing to give to us, we are willing to support you in making that happen. So besides that, I wanted to let you guys know of a few dates coming up. September 20th, we have Tough Turtle Junior and Hatch Day. Gaia is going to be 20 years old. That's how long Gaia has already been around. So come, Tough Turtle Junior is an obstacle course. Like I said before, we need volunteers. I promised my marketing director that I would say something. We have Scarecrow Jubilee coming up. This is a time when we make scarecrows, hundreds of scarecrows. Come out, do it with us, October 18th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then of course we have our garden site committee, which there's so much to do on our garden site committee. If you have an idea, we'll use it. If you don't want to do your idea and you want to do something that we need being done, please help us. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you. Any questions?
I know you mentioned those 2 dates to volunteer, but say just on a regular old Saturday, you take volunteers just to help maintain or maybe remove invasive species, stuff like that.
100%. And we have a volunteer.
Yeah, I was asking.
well, no,
Oh, yes, sorry. He asked if there was a time that we could just come to the garden and volunteer, help remove invasive species. The answer to that is yes. Of course, it would be best if we facilitated that with our facilities manager, but every help in gardening aspects is always needed and wanted. We have a 3-acre garden and 1 facilities manager.
Do you all work with like young parents, new parents? I think I saw you had a program for that.
The question was, do we work with young parents? So we have multiple programs for that. We have a new program actually that started last spring called Garden Babies, and that's parents or caregivers with their child can come to the garden at a specific time and meet our education director, and they do things that are very similar to what we've done with our preschool kids. Play outside, get dirty, you know, experience and enjoy, and of course have a place that parents can come together and vent because that's needed as young parents. We also have a preschool program. Our preschool program is only 3 hours a day, but it is extremely useful. Kids get a chance to be outside all day long, all 3 hours of the day, no matter the weather. We are outside. Yeah, if we need to go inside to get a little warm in the winter or change our clothes because we got too wet, we'll do so. But we have a yurt that we can use for that type of thing. That's kids 3 to 6. And then, of course, we have our after-school program, which is for elementary school ages.
Looking down the road, what do you see in the future? What would you like to have to maybe expand what you've done already?
Great question. I want to see more programs. I want to see us expand the different populations that come to our programs. I want to see us more in the community. I want to see us in schools. I want to see us at different parks. I want to see us all around town so that everything ICG is available and accessible to everybody. That's one of my major goals.
I was wondering about like when you have kids that are interacting with the environment and moving things around, and like it's very beautiful, and sometimes you also see them like you know, doing things that can hurt the environment. What kinds of issues do you see that are like your most recurrent sustainability issues, and how do you like frame stewardship for in those areas?
That's a really good question. Her question was, how do we engage with children if they are hurting the environment or hurting the atmosphere, the environment around? And how do we make sure that we're allowing stewardship to continue to happen? Is that a good reframe? Okay. The anarchy zone is a place where kids can move anything and everything about. Okay, there is nothing in there that can be, it is their space. But if we see children picking up a frog, like we want our kids to be able to experience holding a frog, but we're not going to let them shake the frog or throw the frog or hold on to the frog until it doesn't move anymore. So we're going to explain to them, hey, you know, a frog's natural environment is in this muddy marsh water. It really wants to live there. Normally, kids want to let the animals live and stay alive. So most of the time that works. Explaining what the animal species prefers is normally the best bet. In terms of vegetables and flowers and whatnot, we ask not to pick the flowers, but in the garden, they can harvest whatever it is that they see whenever it is. The point of the garden is not necessarily to give out to the other community, it's for us to use. So if you're walking by and you see a grape or a strawberry, by all means, have a bite. But don't take all of them because it is for the community, it is for the after-school community, and it is for the preschool. Does that answer? Yeah.
You have full-time staff members, and where does the funding, I guess, come from typically for a lot of your operations?
Good question. A lot of our funding is from our programs. About 80% of our expenses are our staff. So obviously our programs aren't, they don't fully pay for everybody or in everything. So we have a lot of grants, a lot of funders. We have something called the Hive, which is a monthly donation to the garden that you can take part in. Any amount is okay. It can be as little as $6 a month. But yes, many grants, a lot of funding, a lot of fundraising opportunities. We have a couple of organizations that will give us matching funds if we are able to raise, $50,000, then they'll give us matching funds. So a lot of it comes from our development director.
I know a lot of us are looking for research opportunities and capstone projects and so forth. And you've mentioned if you're open to ideas coming forward. I was wondering if you're open to collaboration on finding something that might meet that criteria for us, but also might serve the community since you have that inside perspective.
100%. The question was if we're willing to look into capstone projects that would help them as researchers, your students as researchers, and the community as a whole. The answer to that was yes. Please come to me.
So let me say something about that.
Yeah.
Subject came up. So I know that plant science and ag science majors have an internship requirement. We use that term broadly. It can be lots of different things. It can be research, but it can also be something like this, where you work with Ithaca Children's Garden over like a sustained period of time, like over a semester or over the summer. Many students do their internships over the summer somewhere, but you can do it during the school year since Ithaca Children's Garden is really close. And we have a course number for it. You sign up, you get sign-offs by your advisor, by Naomi, and you can do your project here with them. And that's one of the purposes of this seminar, maybe get you excited about working locally with youth here in Ithaca. Thanks. We have time for a couple more questions? Yeah.
Kind of a boring one. I'm just curious with kind of the risky play philosophy, the anarchy zone, if you ever run into issues with like your insurer or your lawyers, that will bring up like this stuff wrong.
So we haven't had anyone sue us, if that's your question. I personally am not nervous. I believe that when you allow risk, you allow a child to understand what their strengths and weaknesses are and assess their own abilities. So you'll see children in the beginning make a balance beam, and they'll start walking on their balance beam really, really Oh, I've got a great story. Okay, so one time a child takes a slide, puts it up against a tree, and climbs up the tree and wants to slide down. Now, this slide is not connected at all to the tree, okay? So I take a step closer. I'm thinking, this wasn't at Ithaca Children's Garden, by the way, this was at another nonprofit that I ran beforehand. So I take a step closer, see what's gonna happen, understand that if the child does attempt to go down the slide, I am going to be there really quickly because I know that if the child sits, the slide's gonna fall, and that's a pretty nice fall. So I get a little bit closer and I see the child kind of like squiggling about, like trying to figure out, can they do it, you know, testing the waters. And suddenly they say to me, can you go get some of that cloth over there and put it on the bottom of the slide? I was like, sure. So I go and I grab some cloth and I put it on the bottom of the slide. And then you still see the child like not sure, do they want to slide down? Do they not want to slide down? And then they're like, can you just maybe come a little bit closer? I'm like, sure, come a little bit closer. And you still see the child is uncertain if they want to slide down the slide or not. Then they're like, hold on a second. They get off the tree, grab a rope. There's 2 holes from the slide from, I don't know, previous screws that were in the slide. They tie the slide around the tree and connect it, then go back up, and then they start like pushing on the slide to see, and then she looks at me and she's like, can you just hold the slide? So I was like, yes, but the amount of problem solving that happened in that time, the amount of assessing whether or not this child could or could not do it, it wasn't by me saying, be careful, don't do that, watch out. It was by them understanding the situation and trying to figure it out. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely kids who are much more risk averse, and they'll try and do things that are much scarier than that. But in that situation, what I will do is be nearby. The worst thing that has happened is a kid has fallen off one of those tubes, you know, in the wrong way. But if you look, there's actual research about adventure playgrounds and regular playgrounds. Because we allow them to take risk, the chance of getting injured is way less. This was done at a school in Texas called the Parish School. It was research because they also had an adventure playground and also a regular playground. So it was the first research done specifically on adventure playgrounds and traditional playgrounds in the United States. I can share it with you guys if you'd like. Oh, and one more thing about that. Sometimes kids will be like, oh, let me throw this piece of wood. That could happen anywhere. Okay, a kid might get hit in the head with a piece of wood. The idea behind this is that parents understand what we do. Parents know that we want kids to be able to play this way. Of course, we're then going to go to the child and be like, hey, if you want to throw a piece of wood, maybe do it away from other kids. And they will, because you're still allowing them to throw the piece of wood, just not at anyone deliberately.
I'll just share a story. Since you showed that picture of the bees, we were down there one day extracting honey with like, I think 7-year-olds, and there were bees like flying around and crawling on the kids and so forth. And I told them, I said, the bees are just licking up the honey. They're not going to bother you. Don't hit them. I was amazed. This whole class with like letting bees crawl them, and nobody got stung. It really, but it was teaching them, yeah, there's a risk there, but if you manage the risk and do things properly, you won't be harmed by it. And I was so impressed. So impressed.
I agree that letting children, I mean, right? Could you just teach my daughter? Because at the stadium where my son plays soccer, there are wasps all the time and she's screaming and running around. Wasps are different, yeah. That you should run.
Well, thanks, Naomi. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
This has been a production of Cornell University, on the web at cornell.edu.